is.
All right, so hey guys, you know me, Tim Galbraith, hashtag Lapeer. Today I'm joined by County Commissioner Brad Haggadone. Just familiar face to me. You actually represent our
Yeah,
downtown
yeah,
Lapeer
District
district.
4, which is the city of Lapeer,
Okay,
Mayfield Township Precinct 2, and then half of Oregon Township by Precinct 1.
okay, okay, very cool. So it's particularly relevant to the city of Lapeer, although this is really county-wide issue stuff we're going to talk about.
Yep.
So you brought me a little update.
Yeah, I have, it's been well over a year since you and I sat down up for
Yeah,
an update.
we have what, maybe twice?
Yep, and
Okay.
you and I ran into each other before Thanksgiving, and here we are after Thanksgiving, able to do an update. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, I have my, just so that people know, I've got my cheat sheet here, and
Okay,
if
perfect.
you want to run down the
Yeah,
list.
let's
And
talk about what's going on.
so right off the bat, I figured we'll start with county recycling, which is our materials management program. We held a meeting on the 5th of November for an informational meeting with the material haulers. So that would be like North Lapeer Recycling, Waste Management. I think that's their name out of Elba. Uh, there's a place in Emily City that does some recycling, and then not Habitat for Humanity, but the former Lapeer County drop off recycling that they're looking for a new home. They were also at this meeting. We just gave them an update of where we're at and where we need to be. We're still in the planning phase, and I know for a lot of people that's kind of frustrating. It's frustrating for us too. Government works very slow, unfortunately, but we're working on a really good plan with three other counties. So it's Tuscola, Sanilac, uh, Huron, and then Lapeer.
Okay.
So the four of us make up one unit, and we actually get more funding from the state.
So what does this look like? Does this mean like we're going to have bins that we can throw?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the long run, what we have to do is either have our own drop off locations or
Okay.
partner with North Lapeer or the drop off group once they find a location.
Okay.
The law is written that you have to have, for a county the size of Lapeer, we have to have X amount of drop off locations. I believe for us it's 6.
Okay.
And they have to be open for, and this I know for a fact, have to be open for a minimum of 24 hours a month.
Okay.
So meaning we have to pay to have it either manned or work with somebody that already has it manned. Luckily, in the southern part, we're kind of already taken care of because Almont and Dryden have their own recycling at their township halls.
So this will take a little bit of like proactivity or proactiveness on the citizen to go.
Yes.
Okay.
And it also requires, and Rick Ryan has been doing it for years, but any trash hauler in the state of Michigan will have to offer curbside with their trash. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to. You do
So
not
it's a
have to buy
service
it.
they'll offer for extra.
Yes.
Do you know typically what like that runs the individual?
I do not.
Okay.
Because I live in Mayfield, so we would take advantage of the drop off. Not a lot. I'm bad with that, but
Yeah.
my aunt would swing by, pick up what we had, and because her and my uncle were big into it. So
Cool. No, I think this is great. I've actually like felt like it's incumbent upon us to do a better job of recycling in this area. Now, that could have also been ignorance on my part. I haven't really been sure like we could take advantage of. Maybe there were things that like I'm just not aware of that I could be and should be taking advantage of. So anyway, I think it's like a positive.
Absolutely, and I've taken the step. I'm the only commissioner that has a recycling bin in his office up at the courthouse.
Okay.
Because we get so many papers, and and that habit, you're done with them, you throw them away.
Yeah.
And one day my garbage can was overfull, and I went down to our office manager, Doreen, shout out to her, wonderful lady. I said, hey, can you get me a blue recycling bin? So now underneath one of my cabinets is a recycling where I put all my papers.
Okay.
And off to the recycling they go.
That's how it starts,
yep.
Right? The individual like takes responsibility for doing it themselves, and then hopefully it catches on.
Yep.
So, good. I'm excited
Yep.
to hear that. That's a good thing that the county is
Yeah.
working on, and even if it's going slow.
Yeah, and last thing on
progress.
that, we will have in March, April time frame, we will have open to the public, of course, informational meetings where we're actually going to seek public input on our plan once it gets more solidified.
Will that be at the same time as your typical Thursday meeting, or will this
Probably
be
not. It'll probably be a night meeting.
Awesome.
Our one on the
Good, 'cause
5th was a night
most
meeting.
people will be, yeah, it's hard to make those day meetings
Yep.
for your average person. So
Yep.
that's good.
Mhm.
Awesome.
And then moving on, ARPA things. Torzewski's getting an almost $7 million upgrade.
Real quick, what's ARPA for?
ARPA is the American Rescue Plan Act that came out during COVID.
Okay.
It was done before I got on the commission, but you had to use that money for improvements in your community.
Okay.
Could not be used for, salaries or anything like that. It was strictly for improvement. Mayfield Township built a brand new law enforcement building storage for EMS, their sheriff's department. So that's what you can use it on. We're using it on, and
How's it when you say we? Was it like chopped up by district? Was it or like?
So at the commission level, it was the county as a whole.
Okay.
And what would be to the benefit of the entire county.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we did a study, and we looked at our most critical needs. And so we'll start with one.
Sure.
The 2 rooftop chiller units at the health department were almost 40 years old.
Okay.
They weigh 2 tons apiece. We put 2 brand new ones up over there, just got finished. It's going to save the county money and energy, upgrades it so that we're not shelling out money to keep them going. We did that at the courthouse as well, replaced those rooftop units, put in a brand new generator that's more eco-friendly and will help keep the county running better than something that's straight out of the 70s.
Yeah, sure.
So that is the
ARPA
funds.
Little improvements.
Yes.
Okay.
And so our 2 big, we did 3 big projects, and I'll talk on each one of them.
Great.
Torzewski got the most amount of money. We're putting, it's roughly $6.7 million into Torzewski to make it the premier water park in the state of Michigan.
Really?
Outdoor water park in mid-Michigan, in my opinion.
That's obviously a lofty,
yes, obviously
awesome.
You've got water parks in Frankenmuth that are privately owned and they're indoor, right?
Yeah.
This is outdoor only, obviously, and we just voted a couple Thursdays ago to change the name of it from Torzewski Water Park to the Zoo. It's a play on Torzewski, right? So it's gonna be ZEW,
okay.
and it's
a got bit more
like a giraffe, a lion, a tiger on the cover of it. So it's totally redone. No more old dilapidated pirate ship for the kids. Instead of having the main slide be a 1-track, it's actually going to be a 2-track.
Okay.
So if you and your buddies wanted to go there and race down you can do it. But
maybe
long overdue. First time in 40 years that it's seeing upgrades, and it's going to be safer, more family friendly.
That's good.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, and that's like already. How do you have like numbers on to what extent it's used? It is like a really cool thing when you live in this area to have, but sometimes I'm curious, and it's not, I'm sure the numbers will go up with the improvements.
Yeah, I don't have any on me.
Okay.
That's actually a really good question, because I would like to see
the
difference the last year of the old Torzewski and what it's going to be next year. I think we're on target to open in June, knock on wood.
Sure.
Hopefully no more delays.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting.
Yeah.
And I know.
I'm sure it's going to be a significant.
Yeah, and we've got the disc golf course out there now that gets a lot of use.
That's cool.
Just redid the amphitheater, and I know Patrick over
Freedom Fest.
Yeah, Freedom Fest.
Awesome.
Patrick there at Wood Chips had that out there, and I know other groups like to have gatherings out there. So now it's all redone. The pavilions have been repainted. Horseshoe pits out there. That is a gem.
That's awesome. Yeah, very good.
Next thing we did is the historic courthouse is getting $1.25 million in upgrades. All the outdoor work is done. So the windows, it's been repainted completely on the outside. Yes. But because it is a nationally historic building, there are certain things that we have to do and preserve. So one interesting caveat is I'm on the historic courthouse committee with Commissioner Greg Wise. They are independent from the county, but work together. And our job as the Friends of the Historic Courthouse is to raise money for the preservation of that historic courthouse. Even though it's county owned, we're a 401(c). Maybe I butchered that, but
you're a nonprofit.
Yes, and we just voted at our last meeting to pay the $30,000 for floor restorations, but there's an ink stain from the 1800s on the top floor.
Okay.
We had to put that in the actual motion that has to stay. So when they redo the floor,
Really?
they'll do everything around it, but that ink spot, because it's of historical
Really?
significance, has to stay.
So like people who are familiar with the courthouse then are familiar with the ink spot.
Yep.
And wow.
So
that's
on Law
pretty
Day,
wild. That's cool.
every May, we have Law Day where third graders from Lapeer Community Schools will get a tour
Okay.
from either judges or attorneys,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things that they talk about is
That's awesome.
how, you know, back in the day, secretary would have to write with their.
How often is like it open for someone to get a tour? Like I know weddings take place there and different things like that so you can probably rent it or what have
There
you.
are certain times throughout the year where it's open for tours. It's a little hit or miss now that the historical societies moved.
Okay.
Back when they were in there, it was open a lot more.
Okay.
But if I know candidates in the past have basically rented it out to give tours.
Okay.
But other than that, we don't have a designated person who stays up there to give tours.
Oh, right.
But that would be a good thing, because we try to have somebody for different events. I know my first year on the historic courthouse board.
Days, just as an example,
Yeah,
it would make sense.
Well, and same thing with like Christmas
open.
Fest. That's going to be next weekend. We would have somebody.
Yeah.
Obviously, this year there's renovations going on, so it's still closed. We won't have anybody. But yeah, that's a great point.
Well, maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we?
Next up, animal control building should be done by the end of the year.
When you say done, catch me up. What's been going on?
Yeah, they've expanded it. They've added more kennels. Each dog kennel now, which I think this is really great, will have the dogs will be able to go in and out from their. I don't want any from their
like
not cage or cell, but from so they can be let. So they if they need to go to the bathroom. I think they're called dog runs, and then that way they can just come and go as needed. Obviously, improving their quality of life.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like the whole free range chicken type. Like I'm making an odd extrapolation, but
yes,
yeah, that's a cool.
That's the main crux of the expansion is for the dogs and obviously
treat
cats
them better.
and the staff, that everybody's working in a better environment.
Are there 3 staff?
There's 4. There's the chief, and then 2 full-time, and then last I knew there was at least 1 part-time.
Okay.
I know there's at least 1 part-time.
Okay. So the whole building's getting an upgrade, better for the staff, better for the dogs and cats. Usually it's just dogs and cats, right?
To my knowledge.
Okay. Do you know about how many?
Currently, no.
Okay.
But I know, so when I first got elected.
Maybe like 40 at one point, because I did years ago kind of tour it when Dave Eady was there.
Yep.
But I don't recall either.
So when I first was elected, we did a tour around the county of the different facilities. We went into the animal control, and I left and I went home. I was like, hey, there's this really awesome cat. She just laid there, and bigger redhead like me, so I, a little bit softer heart for her. Ended up adopting her 2 days later, and her name's Colby. She's more of a dog than a cat. She's loud and oh yeah.
So how many years have you had her?
3. Actually, next week we'll make 3 years.
So you've been on the commission 3.
Yep.
A little off topic. Does that mean next year it's time to run again?
Actually, no. 4-year terms now.
Right.
They changed state law, so my first term was 2 years. Reelected in 24.
So you're 1 year into your second 4-year term.
I'll be up in 28.
You're going to be around for a minute.
Hopefully, yes.
Awesome. That's great.
I very much love serving this district.
I come out sometimes and I don't hesitate when I think we have good leaders in our community. I think it should be said, and I think that's exciting that we have you for 3 years.
I'm humbled by that, Tim, and I know when I ran, you interviewed me, and you didn't hold back. You made sure I was qualified candidate, and I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your pants. I know that you care what's best for Lapeer.
I do. I love it here. I moved here 7 years ago, I think, and it's it's my home now. I just can't imagine being anywhere else.
Well, and I've got some things that you might like to
All
talk
right.
about. So grants that we approved in November. First up is mental health court to the tune of $67,522, and DWI drug court $43,700 or $732, and then the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, we entered into a grant agreement with them like we do every year for $1.2 million.
Okay, now the
Yeah.
indigent thing, let's set that aside.
Yep.
When it comes to mental health and drug court, the extra money is intended to improve it. Do you know in like what ways that they're in need of extra funds?
Yes. So another committee I'm on is the settlement. So Walgreens, Rite Aid, all your pharmacies got sued for over
The opioids?
opioid, yes.
Okay.
And it's literally called the Opioid Settlement Task Force.
Yeah.
I'm on it. Judge Nolan's on it.
Yep. And he
Chief
presides over mental health and drug court.
And later on, I'm going to brag about him because he is a gem for this.
Good thing. And let me interject real quick. It's particularly relevant because I was on drug court. I was actually the first graduate of drug court, so that's why Brad knows I have an interest in it. I didn't love getting arrested and going through that process, but it really was what I needed. So everybody needs something different when they're going through that kind of issue, but I am glad to hear that it's being fostered and grown and like continually improved.
So, bragging about Judge Nolan, he came to the personnel committee, which I'm very thankful that my fellow commissioners have allowed me to be chair of. I really love that committee. He came to us last year actually and said, we want to use the opioid funds to basically bring in a specialty court administrator. This administrator will then go out and get grants for these. So we're paying for it with the opioid task force currently.
Okay.
They have so this is the second year of it. I think that position is guaranteed for 3 years.
Cool.
With the opioid funds. From there, it's their job to go out and get the grant funding like they're doing now to ensure that the programs run smoothly and to the best of their abilities for the people that we are trying to help.
Okay.
And then secondly, also to get funding so that they can keep their job.
Sure.
Because one thing, us at the commission, we're pretty compassionate. We say yes more than we say no, but it has to make financial sense. And what's the long-term financial burden to the county?
Yeah.
And I think Judge Nolan and his staff are doing a great job making sure that the answer to, is it sound, is it good for the county? Yes.
That's good.
And I want to brag about him for a second because I was walking from one meeting to another at the courthouse, and there's monitors when you first walk in where the sheriff's deputies can see the different courtrooms, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed Judge Nolan sitting on this table talking with somebody who's clearly in his courtroom to be, sentenced or something. And he's not wearing his robe. He's just in his suit and tie. And he, like I said, he's sitting on a table. He's got one leg on the ground and one kind of, like talking to him like they're a human being.
Yeah.
And I asked the deputies, I said, what kind of court is he? And they go, oh, he's in drug court. He got down from his bench and talked to them like they are a fellow human being.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think that sends a message to that person like, hey, somebody gives a rip about me and somebody's showing me respect.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I got to be real. When I went through it, I felt like that component was missing. And there was a different judge at that time. Since Judge Nolan's taken over, I've heard nothing but good things. And the participants in programs like that tend to be kind of cynical, right? Like they're not usually, you're in that position and you're not happy about it. There's a lot of work to do when you're in that. So when they do say good things about the person presiding over it, that really like tells you if they feel that the person that is in charge is doing a good job, then chances are they're doing a good job. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
That's why I wanted to just get it out there because I know not everything that
Shout out
we do is
Judge Nolan.
Yeah, not everything we do gets seen or blasted nor should it be, right? Sometimes it just feels good to do something for the right reasons just because it's the right reasons.
Right.
But that I felt like needed to be out there because if somebody that you know that may be struggling with something knows, hey, people in this community care about you. I mean, we see it on Lapeer News and Discussion or other groups on Facebook. People say, hey, I'm down on my luck. I need a little bit of help. You see people just rush to help them.
Lapeer's good like that.
Especially, there's a gentleman, his name escapes me. I know he helps out at the refuge. He was like, hey, we're turning turkeys away because we've gotten so many. Give them to other organizations that may need them.
Okay.
You don't get that in other communities.
No, Lapeer. So I've whether been like a participant in drug court or worked in human services. I worked at a group home for kids. I've done street outreach for the homeless. I've worked in not Genesee. I've worked in Lapeer, Oakland, Macomb counties. So like I've seen the different dynamics between like the continuum of service in different places. And some places you see they work really well together and it's very smooth. Other places not so much. Lapeer is good. Like these nonprofits really come together, and you see that also carry over to the community. Just the individuals I see that are willing to help someone down on their luck. It is awesome. It's one of those things that like makes me love being in Lapeer. I really do feel a sense of community here that it's not easy to find. You don't stumble into that everywhere. And I've been a Rolling Stone. I've lived in different places, and yeah, Lapeer's great like that.
And moving, one other one we did is obviously the sheriff's department, well loved by the citizens. The sheriff came to us at our last meeting, said, hey, I found a grant through the Bulletproof Vest Partnership that 50% they would pay for 50% of the new bulletproof and stab proof vests for our sheriff's department. So they're going to get new bulletproof
Do you
and
get
stab.
one?
No, I don't need one, thankfully.
Yeah, well.
But that's to the tune of $24,630.
Okay, well that's
so
awesome.
I know when
We
people
wanna
hear
keep them safe.
people hear the word grant, sometimes it can, give pause for concern, and rightfully so. There's sometimes language where we've had to kick it back and say, hey, this language needs to be taken out of this agreement. But it is the majority of the grants, if not all the grants that we get, are for the public benefit.
Okay.
And it helps us to have a great fund balance, make sure that our staff and community is really taken care of, because that's my main job as a commissioner is the budget, number one, and number two is the community, right? Because if we run a deficit in the budget, I'm out of office, and my fellow commissioners would be too, but the state would then come over and say, hey, we're taking over Lapeer County
and that's
government.
happened. And before hashtag Lapeer existed hashtag Flint. And that happened not long after the state took the city over because it could not manage its financial affairs on its own. So yes, what you say is absolutely true. And that would be an embarrassment, frankly, to our community if our elected officials did not manage the budget properly.
And I'm very thankful. Our county administrator, Moses Zanzo, I don't know if you've ever met him.
I've heard good things.
Well, I'd like to get you in touch with him because I think you would absolutely love him.
Awesome.
He hails from New York, but during COVID moved. He did not. I'm probably oversharing, and Moses, if you happen to see this, you can punch me later. Moses. But didn't like all the rules of COVID. Had family, thankfully, in Michigan. Moved here to mid-Michigan.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, here he is as our county administrator. God works in mysterious ways, but he has been an absolute godsend for Lapeer County.
That's great. And sorry, I didn't want to step on you, but going back to law enforcement, getting them the proper materials to keep them safe, that's another great thing about Lapeer. You feel safe walking around Lapeer. We want to keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of discussions I think that take place at different times where that shows up, that concern to keep Lapeer a safe place. I'm not as familiar with the county personnel, but I will say, like, to shout out city personnel as far as law enforcement, Sergeant Chipalewski, Detective McKelvey. I mean, I know these guys pretty well, and they do a great job. So
we are very blessed in this county that all municipalities work so well together. There is no tribalism of, well, you're the city, it's your problem.
Yeah.
And it also helps that Jeremy Howe, wonderful chief,
came from the
county, and him and our sheriff Scott McKenna worked so splendidly together. When we had that false alarm at the courthouse of an active shooter and everybody came here, it was, other municipalities covered for the county as they came here.
Sure.
When unfortunately, when the Oxford shooting, when the Oxford shooting went down and all of our county, then Chief Frisch had his officers spread out around the county to help out. They work so well together, and we are really in Lapeer County. We are the envy of the state of Michigan, and I'll touch on that just briefly.
No, please.
I'm very lucky that I serve on a statewide board. It is the MAC Public Safety and Judicial Committee. MAC is the Michigan Association of Counties.
Yeah.
So we have like the Eaton County prosecutors on it. We have the Shiawassee sheriff on there. Well, Eaton County just did a law enforcement millage in May. It failed. Middle of the state? County escapes me, but there's a county, Central Michigan. What county is that? I can't think of it.
I don't know. I think of the Chippewas, but I don't know.
But anyways, that county, they did a law enforcement millage. It failed. Isabella County.
Okay.
Their millage failed. They now only have a jail. They have no road patrol.
Oh, wow.
Eaton County, it looks like they're heading in that direction too.
Wow.
I don't know if they're there yet.
They have a state police post. I mean,
and the state for Isabella County has taken over all road, that, and it's up to the townships if a township has it, and the state, because there is not money to do road patrol anymore.
Yeah.
And our citizens here in Lapeer County expect road patrol, and they expect the best road patrol. Yeah. We poach from other counties.
Yeah.
I think last count we're at a dozen officers that we've poached from Genesee County.
That says something.
And some of them either a lateral move or they take a slight pay cut, but they're in a community that they know is going to back them.
Yeah.
And that really goes a long way.
I want to say, Chief Howe, I do want to speak to you. I've met you in the past. I'm eager to speak to Chief Howe. One thing I know about him, at least I'm pretty sure, I believe he's has a master's in social work, right? So I dig that. I think that's important. And I'm really actually eager to speak to him about a number of issues, but I won't hijack our talk. But I would love to talk more to our different law enforcement leaders.
You're lucky, because I would say 99.9% of the leaders in Lapeer, elected, appointed, business owners, are the most approachable people you can get.
Yeah, it's been my experience.
Yeah, and there's people that I have disagreements with. I'll sit down and I'll have a beer with them. No problem.
It's how it should be. It's how it should be. On a national political level, we see such tribalism and dysfunction. And, we have this two-party system, and I'm getting on a soapbox, but people don't work together. And one of the reasons I think Lapeer's doing well is because people do work together. So putting ideological differences aside and making our community the best that we can is really something that we should all be so grateful that leaders like you are able to do.
Well, it's an honor to serve, and I've got one last thing that I want to talk about.
Great.
And because it's something that I'm still researching.
Okay.
The sheriff approached us to approve flock cameras throughout the county.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I'm beginning the research because we have the next 6 weeks to research. He came to us about them. Metamora has 2, and actually Saturdays. So I go on a 3-mile ruck. Shout out men's group. We meet out at Mott and go on a 3-mile walk around the trails of Oakdale every Saturday at 6 a.m.
Yep.
Then we actually come to the doghouse. They open an hour early. Okay. Shout out, another great business.
Yeah, I was going to give them a shout out at the end. We're at Doghouse right now, so thank you, Doghouse, for allowing me to do this.
Yes, thank you, Doghouse, for all that you do. But I meet a group of guys every Saturday morning for breakfast at Brian's, and it happened to be there was 4 deputies that were getting there as I was leaving, And I knew one of them, and I said, hey, you mind if I pick the 4 of you guys' brains about these flat cameras? And they were all about them, and they showed me, it just shows the license plate.
Okay.
I still have a lot of questions about them. I know we were getting calls and saying, hey, please either delay the vote or vote no.
People want to know more.
Yeah,
I want to know more.
Yeah, and I want to research them to see, is it, a constitutional infringement on rights?
Yeah.
Because a guy spoke and said that there was a Supreme Court case. I have it written down. It's on my desk. Mm-hmm. I'm going to research that. I'm going to do a lot of research because obviously I don't want to vote for anything that might be a infringement on somebody's rights.
Yeah,
that's not a hill that I'm willing to take.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Obviously you're busy. I'm busy. We can't meet, all the time and do videos. But when you come to a conclusion on that issue, I would love it if maybe even just like an email or something.
Sure.
If you can tell me
no problem.
kind of what you learned and why you voted the way you did, and I can share that with the community. Sure. And that would be kind of cool.
That we're lucky. That's kind of our. No elected official ever wants controversy, but right now that's kind of our big ticket item. Sure. Is do we accept these? And like I said, I've got 6 weeks worth of research and fact finding that I need to do. I'm sure the sheriff's probably going to get tired of my phone calls because I'm going to be asking them a lot about these. Yeah. There are 2 in Metamora. Metamora Township has them up at, I think, the corner of High Street and Dryden Road, and then 24 and Dryden Road.
What is the stated purpose of these things?
To read, to my knowledge, again, limited knowledge, sure. Based on my conversations with those 4 deputies yesterday, is it is a system where you type in let's say I kidnap you, okay. And they
please don't.
I don't plan on it, but let's say they run my license plate and they say, hey, this guy's wanted for kidnapping.
Okay, so they're looking for warrants.
Yeah, and that camera will read, and then it'll pop off. Oh, my license plate just passed by
in real time.
Yeah, just passed by M24 and Dryden Road because I'm taking you to the former site of the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yeah, which
I think we both missed, but yes, I digress.
Absolutely.
So that's what it is. They showed me it does not look into the cars. It does take a picture from behind the car, and then obviously one of the license plate.
So
still some questions.
You have to do some due diligence, and I think we all appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. Brad, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
And I look forward to hearing more about what you decide on that issue, and maybe next year we'll sit down again and talk.
Absolutely.
Some more.
I'd love that. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Brad.